Hello. First of all, before I say anything else, I want to be honest with you. My name is Marcus Reeve. I am the narrator character for this channel. I am a character voicing the educational content here. I want you to know that from the very first sentence, because what we're going to talk about today touches one of the most common and most under-discussed problems in older adult health. And when something matters this much, you deserve to know exactly who is speaking to you. I'm not going to tell you what your blood pressure target should be. I'm not going to tell you to change any medication. Those are conversations for you and your doctor, the person who knows your brain, your kidneys, your heart, your history, and your body. Nobody on a screen can replace that. What I am going to do is something different. Over the past weeks, as a neurosurgeon, I have read through current guidelines from the American Heart Association, the European Society of Cardiology, recent reviews in major medical journals, and I've tried to translate what they actually say into plain language for someone over 60 who might be quietly wondering, why do I feel dizzy when I stand up? Why am I foggy in the mornings? Is this just aging, or is there something I should be asking about? Those are the right questions. In this video, I will try to answer these questions based on both my research and my experience. I recommend you listen to me attentively until the end of the video. Stay with me. I'll go slowly. So, let's get started. You stand up from the couch after watching the evening news. For a moment, the room tilts. You reach out and steady yourself on the armrest. The feeling passes within seconds. You shake your head, smile to yourself, and walk into the kitchen. You get out of bed in the morning, and for about 10 seconds, the world feels slightly wrong. Fuzzy, slow, like the lights are dimmer than they should be. By the time you reach the bathroom sink, it's gone. You climb the stairs and feel briefly faint at the top. You attend a long lunch and stand up at the end and grip the chair, hoping nobody notices. If any of that sounds like your life, please don't dismiss it. I am asking you, not as a doctor because I'm not one, but as someone who has read what the research says, not to file these moments away as just getting older. They might be. Many things change with age, and not everything that happens to the body is a sign of disease. But some of them might be something else. Something that has a name, that doctors recognize, and that, with the right conversation, can often be addressed. The medical term is orthostatic hypotension. Orthostatic means related to standing up. Hypotension means low blood pressure. Put together, it describes what happens when your blood pressure falls too far, too fast, when you change position from lying or sitting to standing. In a younger body, when you stand up, the cardiovascular system responds in less than a second. Blood vessels in the legs tighten. The heart speeds up briefly. Pressure stays steady, and blood continues to reach the brain at a healthy rate. After 60, that response often becomes a little slower and a little less precise. After 70 or 75, more so. This is partly because blood vessels become less elastic with age, partly because the nervous system signals adjust more gradually, and partly because certain very common medications can blunt the body's ability to compensate. When the response is delayed, your blood pressure drops in the seconds after you stand. For a brief window, sometimes only 10 or 20 seconds, the brain receives less blood than it needs. And the brain, more than any other organ in your body, notices. That's the dizziness. That's the brief fog. That's the moment you grab the door frame. I want to be direct with you, because being direct is a form of respect. The brain is the most demanding organ in your body. It is roughly 2% of your weight, and it asks for about 20% of every heartbeat. It never stops asking. It cannot store its own fuel. When blood flow drops, even for seconds, the brain feels it. In younger adults, the brain has remarkable reserves and protective systems that keep blood flow steady even when blood pressure varies. After 60, those protective systems become more dependent on the pressure itself. There is, in plainer terms, less margin for error. This is not a flaw. It is simply how aging works. And it is the same reason knees need more care at 70 than at 30. The body changes, and the wise response is to change how we care for it. When you stand up and the world tilts, even briefly, your brain is telling you something. Most often, it's a minor and manageable signal. Occasionally, it's a signal worth investigating. The point is, it is information, not nothing. I want to be careful here because this is exactly where bad health videos go wrong. There is a great deal of debate among heart specialists about the ideal blood pressure target for older adults. I am not going to tell you there's a hidden right number that your doctor has been keeping from you. That would not be true, and it would not be fair to you. Here is what I can tell you fairly. The most recent major guidelines, the American Heart Association in 2025, the European Society of Cardiology in 2024, agree on something important. Blood pressure targets in older adults should be individualized. That word matters. Your ideal number depends on your age, your kidney function, your fall risk, the other medications you take, whether you live independently, whether you've ever fainted, and many other factors that only your own doctor can weigh. Recent large analyses have shown that, for many older adults, keeping blood pressure under reasonable control continues to protect the heart and the brain, including reducing the risk of dementia. That is reassuring. Treating high blood pressure is not the enemy of your brain. At the same time, in some adults, particularly those who are older, frailer, or on multiple medications, being treated too aggressively can cause its own problems: dizziness, falls, brief drops in brain perfusion. That is not the same as saying medication is bad. It is saying that the dose has to fit the person. The right answer for you is somewhere in this thoughtful middle ground. And finding it is not something you do alone. It is something you and your doctor do together, with good information on both sides. Here is something concrete that I learned while researching this, and that I would gently invite you to think about. There is a simple measurement called the orthostatic blood pressure check. The procedure is short and painless. You lie down for a few minutes, the nurse or doctor takes your blood pressure, you stand up. They take it again after 1 minute, and again after 3. If the top number drops by 20 points or more, or the bottom number drops by 10, within the first 3 minutes of standing, that's the technical definition of orthostatic hypotension. It is a recognized condition with a name, a code, and treatment options. In many routine appointments, this test isn't done, not because doctors are careless, but because appointments are short and the test takes time. It's often only performed if someone mentions falling, fainting, or feeling dizzy. So here is the small thing I want to suggest. If standing up sometimes makes you dizzy, even just sometimes, consider mentioning it to your doctor at your next visit. You can use a simple sentence. I've noticed I feel dizzy when I stand up sometimes. Could we check my blood pressure lying down and standing up? That sentence is enough. It opens a door. It tells your doctor that this is something you're paying attention to, and it gives them the information they need to decide whether further evaluation makes sense. I am not your doctor, and I will never tell you what your medication should be. But I have read enough to know that some of the most useful conversations between older adults and their physicians start with the patient asking the right question. Here are 3 you could bring with you. 1. Given my age and my other health conditions, what is my individual blood pressure target? And what made you choose that number for me? Doctors set targets thoughtfully. Most are happy to explain their reasoning when asked. This question is not a challenge. It is an invitation to a conversation, and most physicians appreciate engaged patients. 2. Could we measure my blood pressure both lying down and standing up at this visit? 3 minutes, that's all. It can clarify a great deal. 3. Some of what I've been feeling, the morning fog, the dizziness when I stand, could any of it be related to how my medications are working in my body now? This is the gentlest and perhaps most important question. It does not assume any answer. It simply opens space to consider. Are the medications still doing for me what they used to do? Or has something shifted? Sometimes the answer is no. The medications are exactly right. Sometimes the answer is that a small adjustment might help. Either way, you have asked and you have learned. That's how good care happens. I want to be very clear about this because it matters more than anything else I'm going to say. Please do not stop, reduce, or do anything on your own based on any advice you've read online, a friend's recommendation, or any video you may have watched, including the one in this video. Blood pressure medications protect your heart and your brain in ways that often go unnoticed precisely because they are working. Stopping them abruptly can cause severe health crises such as strokes, heart attacks, or kidney injury, potentially leading to life-threatening complications. These changes should always be discussed with a doctor. If something I've said today resonates with you, the action it should lead to is one thing only: a conversation with your own doctor. Bring the questions. Bring your observations. Bring your symptoms written down if that helps. But let the changes, if any are needed, come from a partnership with the person who knows your full picture. That is not a limitation. That is the safest, most effective path to better health. Real medicine for real people in real bodies only happens that way. While you wait for your next appointment, there are gentle, safe habits that the research consistently supports for anyone with occasional dizziness on standing. None of these replace medical care, but they are kind to your body and cost you nothing. Stand up slowly, especially from bed in the morning and from a chair after a long meal. Sit on the edge of the bed for 30 seconds before standing. Let your body adjust. Drink water through the day. Mild dehydration makes orthostatic symptoms worse. A glass of water in the morning, before you stand up out of bed, can make a real difference for some people. Be careful after large meals. Blood flows toward the stomach during digestion. Some older adults feel particularly dizzy in the hour after eating. Standing up gently helps. Keep moving. Gentle daily walking helps the cardiovascular system stay responsive. You don't need to run. A regular walk is a beautiful gift to your circulation. Limit alcohol consumption. Alcohol can widen blood vessels and exacerbate orthostatic drops, and even small amounts may have noticeable effects, especially after age 60. These are not treatments. They are kindnesses to your body while you and your doctor figure out the rest together. Let me bring this together. If you sometimes feel dizzy when you stand, or foggy in the morning, or briefly unsteady after a meal, that may be ordinary aging, or it may be something with a name that your doctor can investigate. Either way, it is worth a conversation. Ask for the lying and standing blood pressure test. It takes 3 minutes. It costs nothing. It can clarify a great deal. Ask your doctor what your individual target is and why. You are an adult who has lived a long life. You deserve to understand the care you are receiving. And please, please, do not adjust any medication on your own. The conversation is the goal, not the change. Before I close, I want to say something else in my own voice. When I was preparing this video, I kept thinking about the quiet moments that older adults often don't mention to anyone. The morning fog you don't bring up because you don't want to worry your children. The unsteadiness you brush off because you don't want to seem like you're complaining. The slow loss of sharpness you've been blaming on age when it might be something more specific and more addressable than that. You have lived through a great deal. You have seen children grow, worked hard years, weathered losses. You have earned the right to be heard at your own medical appointments. You have earned the right to ask questions and expect real answers. You have earned the right to feel as well as you can feel for as long as you can feel it. The information in this video is drawn from current guidelines published by the American Heart Association, 2025, the European Society of Cardiology, 2024, the European Society of Hypertension, 2023, and recent peer-reviewed reviews on blood pressure management in older adults. If anything in this video helps you walk into your next appointment with a clearer question to ask, then it was worth making. Take care of yourself. Call your doctor. Tell them what you've been noticing. And if someone you love is over 60 and quietly grabbing door frames when they stand up, please share this with them. Not to alarm them, just to remind them that they're allowed to ask. Thank you for staying with me till the end. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.